Hello, Laura. I'm so glad that you could join me today. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, good. So, we're going to be chatting a little bit about your experience of being in the Yes Mamas Village. And before we get on to that, would you just introduce yourself and tell the people watching a little bit about your family, what brought you to the group in the first place, just so people can get to know you?
I'm Laura. I am a home educating mum to two girls aged 8 and 6. Um, Lottie happens to be on the autistic spectrum. I am a forest school leader and I'm an ex-primary school teacher. Um, I The thing that first brought me to yes parenting and yes mamas, I think that coming from a teaching background, I was very much coming from a place of using praise and rewards to get children to do things I wanted them to do, and using punishment and consequences when they didn't do those things. So very much a place of control. And I just knew really deep down and within my heart when I became a parent that that just didn't feel right. It didn't sit right with me, and it just felt a bit wrong. And I was just researching and looking for another way to do things, really.
Mm. So, talk a little bit then about what was that journey like for you, having uh, being trained as a teacher, and so therefore being trained how to use, consequences, punishments, essentially, and rewards in order to get the results you wanted from children. And like, what was that journey like to kind of unravel and unpick that in order to kind of find a new way of doing it? And I guess also, I suppose the second part of that question is how do you work with your kids now using a yes parenting approach?
I think at first, when I realised that there was a different way, and that it didn't have to be like that. On the one hand, it felt really, really exciting. Like, yes, there is something out there that is different. There is someone that can help me. I can do this, and I'm not the only one that is thinking like this. So on the one hand, that felt really, really exciting. And on the other hand, I've been a primary school teacher for many, many years. So all of a sudden, to totally turn everything I knew on its head, and to know that it was potentially damaging to my children, that also felt pretty scary and daunting, as well. And I think with my journey, I think I just wanted to absorb all the information I could and find out as much as I could, and then just, I'm a bit all or nothing, so I wanted to like do it all straight away.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of pull back and just trickle things in slowly and over time, and accept that I wasn't always going to get it right. And yeah.
So, two things actually came up for me while you were chatting about that. I mean, one is that your husband is also a former primary school teacher. I mean, he left teaching more recently than you did, but I'd love to hear a little bit about how you guys have journeyed together, but also, like, in terms of the Yes Mamas Village, like, how has the Yes Mamas Village supported you as you've gone on that journey?
Yeah, I think that Stu he is very open to trying new things, and he is a little bit like, well, you're their mum and you know best, and I'll support you whatever you decide you want to do, unless he wholeheartedly disagreed with something, but he didn't. and he was open and willing to, you know, give it a go, and you know, try a new approach and a new way of doing things. And I guess it's been quite hard for me at the beginning when he was still using you know, an approach of control and praise and reward and consequences. And you know, it felt hard not to just straight away jump in front of the children and go, oh no, you're doing that wrong. So I just kind of had to bite my tongue and lead by example, and almost drip feed it slowly to him as much as I was learning myself, and drip feeding it into what I was doing with the girls.
So what role has the Yes Mamas Village played in all of that?
Well, it's just been that constant place of support, where you know that there's a whole village of mamas out there, and you that I can call on for advice at any time, and to know that you're not actually doing it by yourself, and that there are lots of other families out there who are also looking to do the same thing. So to be able to just go to that place to ask questions, to say to other people, and to say to yourself, oh, what do I do about this? And oh, this hasn't quite worked tonight. What might I be doing wrong? How can I do things differently? It's just knowing that there's always someone there to just listen and to advise, and that you're kind of not doing it by yourself.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really love about the group, and that's a real benefit, I guess, for me, you know, even though I kind of, you know, I set the Yes Mamas Village up, and, you know, I'm the founder of Yes Parenting, but that everyone is everyone is in a very different place with their parenting. And even if two people are struggling with what seems like the same issue, whether that's to do with their kids or to do with their romantic relationship or to do with work or something, that there's always so many different ways to find a yes in that situation. And so for me, I often feel like, you know, the group is just this wonderful, almost like this cauldron of all these different options and ideas and strategies, and the community just really helps you find the one that's right for you and your family. Is that something you've experienced?
Yeah, definitely. And also that we're all at different stages of our journey. So I've been doing it for, you know, a few years now, but if there was someone just starting out, I would be able to offer them some advice if it's something that I struggled with in the beginning. And at the same time, I would be able to ask someone else for support or advice if there was something that I was struggling with. So yeah, it's been really, really, really helpful.
Yeah. So as well as parenting, which other areas of your life do you perceive that the Yes Mamas Village impacts?
Well, self-care is just a massive, massive, massive thing. I think when I started on this journey, I didn't even know. I don't think I'd even heard the phrase self-care. I didn't even know what that was, let alone what it might look like for me, how important it would be for me. And you know, as you say, one of the first things about yes parenting is about how you need to look after yourself, and how you can't fill from an empty cup, and how vital that is. So that has been really, really life-changing for me. And I think,
I was just going to say, like, it has been massively life-changing because of how you're now, the area of work that you're now moving into yourself.
Yeah. So I hope to empower other mums to, you know, see and value self-care, and how important it is, and how important it is for our children to see us having that self-care,
Yes.
so that then when they go into adulthood, they know that that's such an important part of your life. So that has impacted me massively. Yeah.
Is there anything that has surprised you about your time in the Yes Mamas Village?
I didn't think that I would find anywhere online where you could, and actually, in fact, the real, the real world, where you could really be yourself and really say what you feel and how you could show up and share, problems and secrets and things that you maybe wouldn't even sort of tell your friends in real life, because you just know that nobody in the group is going to judge you and everyone will support you, and just to be heard and is a really, really powerful thing. So yeah, that really surprised me, it's more than just, oh, this is a parenting group and this is how you do this kind of parenting. It's so much more than that. Yeah, it really does feel like a village, like a tribe, like, how we would have lived hundreds of years ago with a tribe of women around us that we can call on for support when we need it.
Yeah. So what would you say are the, I don't know, top 3 reasons, if you can kind of segment it into 3, but it doesn't matter if you can't. But what would you say, like, for example, like the top 3 reasons why you would recommend someone else to join the Yes Mamas Village?
I think definitely that you're just that the support that you receive in terms of your parenting, and the value that it gives to you and your family and your children, to live a life that is full of peace and joy and connection above all else is just so valuable. You just can't put a price on that. I think that the feeling of being supported by other women and by yourself, and that the non-judgment, the feelings of being in a tribe, and a place to go to share whatever's going on in your life is really, really valuable. And I think just a place also where we can celebrate, when we celebrate the joys in our life, the things that have worked for us, when we do our gratitude videos. I love watching everyone's gratitude videos, when we share our photos, all those really positive, joyful things as well.
Yeah. Oh, Laura, thank you so much for taking the time today to talk with me.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, it's a real privilege for me to have this opportunity to walk alongside women like you and like all the other women in the group, because, we're all different, and yet at the end of the day, we're all the same. And, that the empathy that comes forward with the acceptance and non-judgment that you describe, it makes the Yes Mamas Village, such a special place. And that's before you even start looking at, all the resources that are available, like all the topic videos and the past guest experts, and, all the live videos that I've done and the office hours. It's just, before any of that, the value is just, like you said, it's priceless.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.